Hi everyone, Mr. Silva here, and this is the fourth lesson in the Computer Applications and Business 2 unit for the business unit. In this unit, as I talked about before, we started off with resumes, finding a job, and job applications. We're now on the cover letter. The next two lessons will cover dressing for success in the interview process. When I originally planned this idea and planned this lesson, there is the opportunity at the end to do a interview simulation. However, due to time, I decided to cancel it because of the virtual and the distance learning. So unfortunately, we won't be able to do it this time, but I will give you some tips and strategies in the last lesson for you to prepare you for when you do actually do the interview. So the cover letter. The cover letter is an important step in applying for any job. Okay, some jobs will require you to write a cover letter and some will not. Some will make it optional. In that case, you should try depending on the job. If it's somewhere like you're applying for a restaurant, you're not really going to need a cover letter. But if it's something more professional, then you most likely will need a cover letter. And if they do say it's optional, it's highly recommended you do a cover letter. The cover letter, to kind of recap where we're at, the resume tells about you and your work experience. It's just a list of all of your accomplishments, your degrees, your education, and your work experience. That's it. There's really no meaning behind it. However, the application will tell about your background and give, more importantly, like dates, your duties, your responsibilities, things of that nature. It goes a little bit more in depth. However, the cover letter is when you're telling about why you're applying and the skills that you want to highlight and the experiences from your job that you want to highlight. The cover letter is used to tell more about yourself, and it's sometimes things outside of the resume. And it gives you the reasons for wanting the job. Why are you applying? It's important to note that this is a cover letter and it is done in the business letter format, and we did this during our Word unit. If you need to refresh yourself, make sure you check out some websites on writing a business letter and make sure that when you do write this, it is in the business letter format. You want to look at the reading for this week because I do give some examples in the reading about how you set this up. So the general setup of your cover letter, you have your headings like usual from the business letter. You have your name, your address, and your contact information. You also include the date, their name and title, optional, the company that they're working for, and their address. Then you would do your greeting, like greetings, dear Mrs. So-and-so, so on and so forth. Then you would have your paragraphs and then your closing and your signature. Okay, when I say closing, I'll talk about that at the end. So the content of a cover letter. The cover letter answers 3 questions, and this has gone into depth in the reading for this week. You're answering 3 questions: why, what, and how. Why are you writing? What do you have to offer the company? And how are you going to follow up after? Those are the 3 main goals of the cover letter, and you need to have all 3 in order to have a successful cover letter. So why are you writing? If you found this job, why do you want this job? If someone told you about it, make sure you write who told you about it. If you're replying to a job posting, like you went online, looked at the job boards, and you found a job, why are you going to apply for it? Where did you find it at? What is the title of the job you're applying for? Why are you applying for it? And why are you qualified for it? That shouldn't be what, it should be why. You can also write this to express interest in the company. If the company is not hiring currently, if you're interested in that company, you can send just a blank cover letter, kind of highlighting it. You're not, when I say blank cover letter, like you're not really applying to a specific job, but you're saying that you're open to jobs at that company. What are you looking for? And some of the stuff above, except you're not applying to a specific job. You must capture the reader's attention in this case. You are sending this letter just to inquire about jobs and be interested in the company. They don't have to accept this. So you're writing to express interest and you want to make sure you capture their attention. What do you have to offer is the next question. If you're responding to a job posting, mention the qualifications. Um, if they're looking for specific qualities and qualifications, how do you have those? Make sure you mention why and how you have those. And then tell why you're qualified. What skills and experiences have you had that make you qualified for the position you're applying for? Make sure you mention specifics. Tell about a time that you used the qualifications. Remember, in a cover letter, you do want it to be short and sweet and to the point. Okay, cover letters are usually a page or less. So you want to make sure that you give specifics, but you're not telling a whole full story. If they're really interested in it, they'll contact you and you can bring it up whenever you interview with them. You want to show how your education and skills would work here and how your skills and education would benefit the company you're applying to. You are selling yourself, okay? You need to make it count. Be specific, but also be very succinct, meaning express it and tell why you're qualified, but make sure you do so in the shortest amount of words possible. That doesn't mean like you leave it up to the reader to kind of interpret what you're saying. You here are trying to sell yourself because they may not have a whole lot of time to review these. So you want to make sure you get straight to the point and explain yourself with as much detail as possible in as little as words as possible. I know that's rather tricky. How will you follow up? After you've applied and after you've told how you're qualified, you need to close the letter and say how you're interested in the job, okay? Include how they can contact you with a phone or email address. And you can also include if you'll be in the area, like if you're moving to a specific area, say, I'll be in the area on this date. Now, you want to make sure that you're not like writing this the day before. You want to make sure you write it like probably at least a 2 to 3, maybe a month or more in advance. That way, if you do apply and they are interested in you, you can set up a time then. You can also state that if you have references, if they need references, or if you have a portfolio available. This is more if you're into graphic design or they're looking for samples of your work. So the headings, this is always important. We talked about this during our business letter unit. You put your name, your address, skip a space. This is all single space, by the way. The date, skip a space. The person you're contacting, their title, this is optional. The company that they work for, the address, and the greeting. So for example, Mr. Andrew Silva, 300 Northwest Cashmere Boulevard, Port St. Lucie, Florida. The date, who I'm applying to, Mr. Dublin Silva, his title. I could put the company, but I didn't put it here. His address, and then I put my greeting, dear Mr. Silva. Okay, you always use this. It makes your life easier. Paragraph 1. Okay, in the first paragraph, you want to state the position you're interested in and state how you found about it. If you know someone in the company, mention them, or if they referred you. Okay, in a sentence or two, explain why you're interested. So I did this as my example. My name is Andrew Silva, and I am interested in applying for the position of technology teacher at your school. I found your posting on your website. I have been a teacher for over 8 years, and my passion for students is evident in all of my lessons. I believe that my teaching style, passion for technology, see, I already messed up there, and personal connections with students make me the ideal candidate for your school. You want to make sure that you proofread it before you post it. This is just an example. This isn't even a perfect example, okay? But this is along the lines of what I'm looking for. I wrote this very quickly and on the spot. Essentially, you're summing up what you're applying for, how you found out about it, and why you're interested in it. Paragraph 2. What experiences do you have? What jobs have you done? Okay, what skills have you acquired? Why would you be successful at this job? You make sure you include your job experience, any classes that you've taken, and any degree information that you've done. Explain why these make you a good candidate. You are selling yourself in paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 is usually going to be the longest paragraph, okay? So make sure you account for that because you really don't want to go over a page. This is not a time to restate your resume. Your resume, your person that you're applying to can look at your resume and get everything that they need to know about your background. This is not the time to go over your resume. Instead, you want to highlight things from specific jobs of what you did. and explain what you did and what skills you added. This is the time to go over and tell about stories that you did, like at this specific job, I did X, Y, Z. Okay, explain it, give specific examples. It's even better if you look at the job application or at the job posting. Um, like if you look at the job posting, make sure that you include what specific things they're looking for in the job posting. Like if they're looking for proficiency in Word or PowerPoint, mention that. Mention times that you've used that in your job or what skills that you may have. Like if you're a certified PowerPoint user, include that. Paragraph 3 is optional. I include it because the reading includes it, but I generally don't include it. I never include it in my cover letter because if it comes up, it comes up. What do you know about the company you're applying for? You should generally include this in the interview, okay? And I'll talk more about this in the interview lesson, but I don't include it because if I'm going to be in an interview, I'll bring it up then. Like, what do you know about the company? It's more to your benefit in the interview you mention what you know about the company than like in the cover letter, okay? Usually in a cover letter, you're just applying to get a job, okay? And space is critical here in a cover letter, so I usually save this for the actual interview, but you can include it if you choose to. Paragraph 4 lets the reader know that you're open for an interview. And how is your reader going to contact you? You want to invite them to contact you. So you also want to thank them for their time and attention and that you'd be open to meeting and talking with them. In general, when I do this, I put, if you are interested or if you would like more information, please feel free to contact me at my phone number or at my email address. Thank you for your time, and I hope to hear from you soon. That's usually exactly how I end my letters all the time, okay? You can choose to do it however you want. At the end, you're going to close it. Sincerely is the best option here. Sincerely, and then you're going to sign it. You're going to sign it if you print off the letter and turn it in or mail it in, but you can also electronically sign it, like sign it in Word, like if you have a tablet or if you are able to sign it on your computer or using Adobe Acrobat where you can sign it there. Just be careful though, you want to make sure your signature is nice and neat. And in general, it's kind of hit or miss. Some people say that you can use like a fancy cursive font to sign it. I generally prefer that you actually sign it, or you can leave it blank like I did in the example below. Then you're going to put your full printed name. So in an example, I would put sincerely, then I would sign it, and then I'd put my name. If you don't have the opportunity to sign it or don't have signature abilities, that's okay. In summary, the cover letter is a great way for you to explain more about yourself and go beyond the resume. Make sure your spelling and grammar is top notch here. You are selling yourself here, so make it interesting and relevant. Now, I hope this covered some of the basics about writing a cover letter. For the assignment for this week, make sure you look at what I'm asking you to do. Look online too for examples of cover letters in case the examples I gave you don't necessarily help you. This is only for practice, so don't stress about it. Okay, if you have questions, let me know, and that's going to do it for this lesson.